All right, so if you've ever tried building something with Google's AI, you've probably slammed right into this really confusing wall. You've got AI Studio over here and the Cloud Console over there. They feel like two totally separate planets. But here's the secret. Understanding how they connect is the key to getting from a cool prototype to a real working app. Without all the usual headaches. So let's break it all down.
Okay, let's start with a scene that I bet is going to feel a little too familiar for some of you. It's a classic, honestly, and super frustrating roadblock that pretty much everyone hits when they start building with AI.
So picture this. You're in AI Studio. Everything's going great. Your prompts, perfect. The model is singing, giving you exactly what you want. So you grab that API key, you plug it into your application, and crickets. Nothing. Or, even worse, you get some bizarre cryptic error message. You're sitting there thinking, wait a minute, it was just working. So what on earth just happened? Well, that is the exact problem we are going to solve today.
To really get to the bottom of this, we've got to start where pretty much every AI project kicks off, inside that creative experimental playground, AI Studio.
The absolute best way to think about AI Studio is to picture an artist's sketchbook. That's really what it is. It's designed to be fast, easy, super low friction. It's the place where you just play. You mess around with ideas, you test out different prompts, you see what the model can really do, all without needing any heavy, complicated setup.
So inside this sketchbook, you're asking all these questions, right? Things like, what happens if I phrase the prompt this way? Or how can I tune this thing to be a little more precise? And the cool part is, once you get something you like, you can instantly grab an API key and just try it out. The whole environment is built from the ground up for that kind of quick, easy, let's just see what happens exploration.
But that API key, that little key is exactly where our mystery begins. Because the moment you step outside of that nice, comfy sketchbook, you find yourself in a totally different world, a much larger, much more powerful place, the control center.
And this right here is the big twist. This is the fundamental misunderstanding that trips so many people up. AI Studio feels like a standalone tool, but it's not. Not at all. It's really just the beautiful, user-friendly tip of a very, very large and powerful iceberg.
Because this is how it's actually structured. Every single thing you do in AI Studio, every prompt you write, every API key you generate, it's all actually happening inside of a Google Cloud project. Think of AI Studio as the nice, shiny dashboard, but the Google Cloud project, that's the engine room. So, let's go back to our analogy. If AI Studio is the artist's sketchbook, then the Google Cloud Console is the entire gallery's infrastructure. It's the plumbing, the electricity, the security guards at the door, and the billing department in the back office. It's the whole control plane that makes sure the art can actually be hung on the wall and shown to the public safely and reliably.
And just think about what's managed here. We're talking about billing, enabling APIs, managing quotas and rate limits, all the credential security. This isn't the fun, creative stuff. This is the serious operational backend that determines if your app can actually scale up and run securely out in the wild. And that's exactly why the stuff lives exclusively in the Cloud Console.
Okay, so let's walk through the typical developer journey, step by step, to see exactly where this distinction becomes so incredibly important. So this is the path, right? Step 1, you're in the sketchbook, AI Studio, having a great time. Step 2, you generate your API key. Step 3, you integrate it into your app. And then, bam. Step 4 hits. You slam into a wall. Some weird error that makes absolutely no sense because, hey, the model was working perfectly a minute ago. That's because the problem isn't the model. The problem, and more importantly, the solution, is back in the gallery's infrastructure. It's in the Cloud Console. And this is the crucial takeaway. That frustrating error you're staring at, it's probably, almost certainly, not a model problem at all. It's a project-level setting. Maybe you've hit a quota, or an API isn't enabled, or there's a billing issue. And the catch is, those settings are only visible and fixable in one place. So this brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole thing. We really need to stop thinking of these as two separate tools. It's time to adopt a new and, frankly, much more accurate mental model. The right way to see this is as a layered architecture. Simple as that. The Google Cloud Project is the foundation. It's the power, the rules, the governance. And AI Studio, that's a brilliant, simplified user interface that's built right on top of that foundation, specifically designed to make interacting with the models as easy as possible. And looking at it side by side like this really just crystallizes the different roles, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the sketchbook, AI Studio. It's all about creative prototyping, prompts, and quick tests.
On the other side, you have the heavy-duty infrastructure, the cloud console. This is for stable production, handling the serious business of billing, quotas, and security. They are absolutely two different tools for two very different stages of your project.
Okay, so now that we have this new map in our hands, what does a smart, effective workflow actually look like? How do we use these tools together and finally ditch all the confusion? All right, here's the game plan. It's pretty straightforward. Use AI Studio for what it's best at: creative prompt engineering and initial tests. Then, treat the Cloud Console as your true base of operations for the project. From now on, when an error pops up, your very first instinct shouldn't be to tweak the prompt. It should be to check the cloud project settings. And remember, all the big decisions about scaling, deployment, and security, they belong in the console. Period.
Look, at the end of the day, understanding this layered architecture isn't just about fixing one annoying bug. It's about fundamentally changing how you approach building on this platform. You're moving from a place of confusion and frustration to a place of clarity and control. So the real question is, now that you have the map, what are you going to build?